Most people do not lose rounds because they are missing some magic move. They lose rounds because their jiu-jitsu is built one attack at a time, where they finally get to mount, finally get to the back, finally get inside on the legs, or finally get to a good guard position, and then the moment the first attack does not work, everything falls apart, and they are back to chasing, defending, scrambling, or trying to act like they meant to end up there. That is one of the biggest differences between someone who just knows techniques and someone who actually feels horrible to deal with, because the dangerous grappler is not just a person with more submissions, it is the person who can miss and still stay heavy, miss and still stay connected, miss and still make you carry their weight, and miss without giving you that clean escape where suddenly the whole round resets and you can breathe again. This is why the idea of loops matters so much, because a lot of people think the goal is to learn more attacks from every position, but the better goal is to build small circles where your attack either finishes, improves your position, brings you back to the same strong place, or at least does not throw away everything you worked so hard to get. So instead of thinking, I am in mount and now I need to submit, the better question is, I am in mount, and when this person defends the first attack, where do I land? Because if every attack from mount makes you fall off, get rolled, or end up in half guard with no control, then the submission might not be the real problem. The problem is that your attack has no safe return. When you watch really good people, it is not always the first move that makes them look special, it is the way nothing they do feels separated. Because the choke connects to the back connects to mount, the mount connects back to the arm attack makes you turn, the turn gives them the next grip, and by the time you feel like you defended one thing, you are already dealing with the next thing. That is why some people feel exhausting to train with even when they are not moving fast, because they are not winning every exchange with explosion. They are winning because they keep making you answer problems that are connected. And when your defense solves one problem, it usually gives them the next piece. Most normal rounds do not feel like that because most people attack with too much hope. And you can feel it when someone finally sees an arm, jumps on it, like this is their only chance, loses the position, and then blames the move. Even though the real mistake was not the arm lock. The real mistake was that they did not know what they were supposed to keep if the arm lock failed. And this is also why holding positions too hard can become a bad habit. Because when you feel the mount slipping and your only answer is to squeeze harder and panic, you usually become easier to move. But when you already know how to float, follow the elbow escape, catch the underhook, force the turn, and climb back into mount with the arm higher than before, then losing the exact position for 1 second does not feel like losing control. That is the feeling you want to build, where you are not trying to freeze the whole round. You are learning how to stay ahead while the other person moves, because Jiu-Jitsu is not just control when nothing changes. It is control while the other person is trying very hard to change everything. The same idea works from guard, because a lot of people think their guard needs more attacks, but what their guard really needs is cleaner reactions after the first attack fails. Because if your triangle attempt always opens your guard and gives the pass, maybe the triangle is not bad, maybe your follow-up is missing, and maybe you need to know whether their posture gives you an arm drag, whether their stack gives you a sweep, whether their pullback gives you an angle, or whether you should simply recover guard before the position becomes dangerous. The same thing happens with leg locks, because the legs are powerful, but they punish people who do not know when the bite is gone. And you can see it all the time when someone gets close to a heel hook, falls in love with the finish, keeps chasing after the window already closed, and then suddenly they are flattened, passed, or mounted because they treated a dying attack like it was still alive. That is why loops are not only about more follow-ups, they are about timing and discipline, because sometimes the best decision in Jiu-Jitsu is not to squeeze harder, it is to leave one attack early enough that you arrive first to the next useful position. This is the thing I wish more people trained on purpose, because everyone drills the clean finish, everyone wants the highlight version, everyone wants the part where the move works perfectly. But in life training, the most important part is usually the messy middle, where the grip is slipping the angle is changing, the person is turning the right way, and you have one small moment to decide whether you are going to force something that is already fading or move into the next part of your game. That middle part is where your real level shows, because anyone can look good when the first attack works, but the people who improve fastest are the people who study what happens when it does not work, and instead of just saying this move sucks, they ask, what did I lose? Why did I lose it? And where should I have gone before the round turned against me? Before I keep going, this is exactly the kind of thing I am trying to build more on Patreon. Not just random clips, but real training ideas, deeper breakdowns, and the kind of stuff you can actually take into the gym and test the same week. So the Patreon link is in the description for everyone who wants the longer guides and the extra study material. The simple way to train this is to pick one position you already get often and stop trying to fix your whole game at once. Because if you start from mount, guard, the back, or a leg position, and you only ask, what is my first attack? You are still thinking too small, but if you ask, what are the two most common ways people defend this attack, and where do I go after each one? Now you are actually building something you can use. From mount, maybe the goal is not just finish the choke. Maybe the goal is attack the choke, force the turn, follow the back, and if the back starts to slip, return to mount before they get to a real guard. And from guard, maybe the goal is not just throw up an arm lock. Maybe the goal is attack the arm, follow the stack, come up on the sweep, or return to guard before they start passing. That is not fancy, but it is the kind of work that makes your jiu-jitsu cleaner fast. Because now your training is not just, did I win or did I lose? It becomes, did my attack leave me worse? Did my attack bring me back to the same place? Or did my attack make the next position even better? Once you think like that, you start to see which parts of your game are actually expensive. Because some moves are cheap to miss, and some moves cost you everything when they fail. And that does not mean the expensive moves are bad. It just means you need to know exactly when to use them, who to use them against, and what your landing is supposed to be if the finish is not there. This is why I think a lot of grapplers would improve faster by studying the miss instead of only studying the finish, because the finish gives you confidence, but the miss gives you the truth, and if your miss always becomes a sweep for the other person, a pass for the other person, or a scramble where you are late, then that is the part of the game that needs attention. The best version of this is when your partner starts feeling like there is no clean answer, because when they stay still, they get attacked, when they turn, they expose the back, when they bridge, they give the arm, when they pull away, they give the angle, and when they finally defend the first thing correctly, you are already waiting in the second thing. So the next time you train, do not try to add 5 new moves. Just pick one place where your game always breaks after your first attack fails, and spend the whole round trying to make that one break smaller, because once your worst ending becomes safer, your whole game immediately becomes more dangerous. And for people who want to study this deeper through instructionals, the best examples are usually in the systems where attacks are connected clearly, especially Danaher's and Gordon Ryan's instructionals, because they are very good at showing not just the move, but the reactions, the follow-ups, and the way one position feeds the next. And I will put the links in the description to the ones I personally think are the best. So check those before buying. And also look for active discounts. Comment what belt you are, where you train, and which position breaks the most for you right now. Because I want to know if people are losing the loop from mount, guard, the back, the legs, or takedown transitions. And subscribe if you want more jiu-jitsu ideas that actually make your live rounds better. Not just more techniques you forget by next week.